Love to hear just kind of what my service is and the Tutoring Hub, Tutoring and Advocacy has helped. How has that helped you and your family over the last year that we've been working together?
Right, absolutely. I would say that my son, who has a pretty in-depth IEP, but also some learning challenges that we haven't necessarily been able to really identify, that is a gap that is something that you certainly have been able to assist with. And as a result, you've partnered with us to make those adjustments reflected in his IEP so that additional accommodations have been able to be considered. Communication with teachers is certainly something that has improved and, better supports his learning style because it is different and unique. And as a parent, I think just having a sense of that validation from you and feeling your support, believe it or not, has just been very comforting, and it has raised both my confidence and my son's confidence.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. And I've loved working with you and your family, and the teachers have been on board, especially over the last several months. So that's great to see that in school, those accommodations and services are being provided.
Absolutely.
Well, what would you say was kind of like your biggest hesitation in getting started?
So, my biggest hesitation was his learning style is different, and he struggles overall with comprehension and reading, and it was trying to find the right person to really understand, have a level of empathy and patience, because it does, as you know, it does take a lot of patience. And fortunately, we got the gold star, and to my surprise, I never thought he would be able to take the virtual approach. And this last year we did more in person. This year we've done more in on the virtual side of things, and he's done very well with it. And as a matter of fact, I think it has forced him to kind of use his system more, learn it more, and to understand the functionality overall.
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes technology is a great resource and tool, even though it can be frustrating at times.
Absolutely. For everybody, right? Even today at work, every day, it can be crazy. So
Absolutely. What have you seen be kind of the biggest impact since kind of starting on with us?
I would say just, being able to hone again those academic skills that aren't necessarily forthright in mind, helping to be able to identify and address those gaps specifically has been incredibly helpful. And again, I think just from an overall comfort, validation, confidence, I think that has been very impactful for my son as well as myself. We have seen improvement, particularly the last part of this school year. We've seen a lot of improvement. I definitely have to shout out you for that assistance in working with the teachers, getting him the accommodations, helping him to understand, what is needed from a technology and, just overall academic stance. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. That is always a joy to hear. And, you've shared different, moments of big wins that we love to see as well. So I remember that English test that was just phenomenal grade.
Yeah.
And love to hear those things.
And it was biology last year. So I would say that's the other thing, that if I just need to get out as a mom, one moment of win and joy, and, I've been able to reach out to you with all of that. And, again, that validation support it's been awesome. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. my kind of final question is, what kind of advice would you share to other families or parents that are looking to possibly kind of see the same services that you've utilized with us?
That is a great question. So I would say that my advice would be to look at this as one of the greatest financial investments that you can make, because you are not only helping your child to grow academically, you are also, as a parent, learning to understand more of their learning style. You are feeling more supported from a school stance. Technology, knowing how the systems work, can be very difficult for a parent to understand, and frankly overwhelming. For me in particular, I struggled with understanding what was missing versus what just hasn't been graded versus it goes on and on. But it's just, the investment is well worth it. It's almost like a burden lifted in a sense, just because it's not that you're taking on that burden, it's just you're allowing the situation to be looked at differently and more encompassed and considered.
Well, thank you. That is, I think, going to resonate a lot with other families too that are kind of navigating this process.
Absolutely.
And you're towards the end of his high school career, right? And that is something to look forward to. And I am sorry that it took so long to get that support.
Right.
So
if I could go back, I would. That's my other piece of advice. Don't wait. I'm telling you, if I could have started this in elementary school, I would have, just due to his, learning style. I would say don't wait. Don't wait.
Oh, thank you. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time today. I know, you have a lot on your plate with work and everything. It's such a joy to work with your son and to work with you. So I hope that continues on and into, graduation. So.
Absolutely. Cross some fingers, and we appreciate you, and we've loved having the relationship that we have with you, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, I won't keep you for the rest of the day. I know we could chat forever, but thanks for jumping on here and sharing kind of your story.
Thank you, Lauren. I really appreciate your help.
Of course. All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.